All right. Here we go. All right, we are back from recess. We have the district judge, Judge Lagomarsino. And you're next up, and Judge Putman. Yep, feel free to start how you want. You can have Charlie, he's got slides prepared, so if you want to go.
This is new to me to see slides, you know?
Yeah. What?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, I've worked with both the judges this last year. Again, same kind of theme that we've heard across different departments, staffing, investment in people, is their kind of motto, I think, going both. The one big thing that we had to make a change on Judge Lagomarsino's court this year was our court reporter. We actually did a budget adjustment earlier in the year to make sure we had enough budget to hire somebody, because he had gone out to the market and wasn't able to find somebody. So that's you've already secured yours, court reporter. You're going to see that same thing in Judge Putnam's court. She's now in the market for a court reporter.
Oh no.
So those are the two big, obviously the two big staff on their departments are that. The other big one that the county needs to just be aware of and address is we've been lucky enough, Judge Lagomarsino filed for a grant, an ARPA grant for $20,000. It's helped subsidize the salary for his court coordinator. That has now gone away. And so I'll kind of just turn it over to you from kind of talking about salaries and stuff from there. But
Okay.
Just hopefully that sets the stage for you guys both on where we are. Really, those are the only two things in both your budgets that changed. Everything else y'all kept kind of flat year over year, cost and things of that nature.
As far as the court reporters, that's an issue that we're dealing with statewide now.
Yeah.
Finding qualified court reporters. And there's two types of court reporters. There's the mask writers, and then there's the stenographer. I always call them the typewriters, but the stenographer. You've got a lot of judges that are no longer able to get court reporters, and if they can, they're going to look and see where can I go to get a higher salary. And right now, if they go just a little bit up the way, they can Ellis County, I know in Dallas County, they're at 150 right now. Go to Denton, they're 175. And so we just want to make sure that we're able to compete, you know, not only if we lose a court reporter, but to bring one in. And there is a shortage, and they are pumping out mask writers pretty quickly now. But I have had good experiences with both, but the stenographers they have a longer process to get there. And so you're getting people that, I'm not saying mask writers are bad, but the stenographers usually, it's a longer process. And so,
Yeah.
And without a good court reporter, you're going to retry a lot of cases. And I've seen this in the past. I've experienced it in my own court with a court reporter, and it was a mess. And
well, without one, we can't even go into court.
Right. It's a requirement.
Yes, sir.
My question is self-serving, but is there, for you both having court reporters, I don't have a current court reporter, and I understand my court doesn't have the need like you have the need on every case, because not everything I've got is contested and requires a record. Do you think there's a workable avenue to where I could share your reporters at all? I mean, I don't know how much our dockets are going to conflict, but I mean, if it's not workable, that's an okay answer. I just, for my own purposes, I'm trying to figure out.
Ours is thinking about quitting because she can't keep up with her records right now.
Okay.
She's overloaded.
That's why.
That's what
Okay.
ours left for that.
That's information I just need to know.
Because we work 8 to 5 Monday through Friday,
Yeah.
and I try to have a minimum of 2 juries a month, just to try to stay somewhat on top of the jail. And that's not even people not in jail.
And everything's getting appealed. Pretty much everything.
So when we're not in session, the court reporter is working on transcripts.
Right.
So
They do other administrative aspects, taking in evidence. Correct? Okay,
And I would love to say, hey, Julie, can you go down and help,
yeah,
but she's, that's what the general public say. Well, if you're not in court, you're not doing anything. I'm like, no,
but that's not true. Yeah,
that court reporter.
that's important that everyone understands.
Yeah.
They work at night, they work on
Yeah.
weekends.
When they work overtime, does that compensate? I forget how that's compensated. Do we pay their overtime or that's just part of their flat fee of
That's
25,000?
that's part of their fee, but then, for the transcripts, they get
They
paid.
get paid. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was it.
Well, I've heard about the market for court reporters, so I don't think this number is outrageous based on kind of my own investigation, looking at it. It's just is what it is, even though, as I understand it, the reporters are able to retain their transcripts as their intellectual property and sell that, and people receive the income from that.
They do.
Usually, is it $7 or $8 a page now? For the indigent fee?
7.
7? So they charge the county when they do it $7 a page, and that's the indigent fee.
Yeah.
So
It's an expensive position.
It's, I mean, if it's not done right, then you're gonna be retrying cases.
Double expense.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
there is a push throughout the state of using, recording systems. And,
Using AI to,
well,
Didn't
pretty,
the county, didn't
pretty,
the county court try that?
and nobody, the question I asked, there was a guy that came here when Judge Davenport was still here, a salesman. I said, who's going to certify that transcript to the Court of Appeals? I didn't really get an answer, but most corporates I've spoken to is that if I did the transcription of it, of that AI or that recording, nobody wants to put their name on it because you're certifying this as a true and accurate. And if it's just a recording that they're listening to, trying to differentiate names, voices, I mean, you try being on a, if we all listened to this, you were like, oh, who just said what,
well, even after you get it put on paper, you have to proofread the whole thing.
Well,
And was it turned on at all the right times?
Yeah.
And you're not,
So-
it's a control issue.
And my issue also is who takes the evidence. I'm not taking
Yeah.
methamphetamine, I'm not taking a gun, so I'm not gonna be responsible for that, whereas court reporter does. That's their job.
Right.
I just want to be able to, when I post it as soon as I can, to at least be competitive.
Even if you're competitive, like James was saying earlier, if there's a shortage in the state, I mean, are you still able to find one anyway? I mean, if it becomes an issue statewide, then
It
I
took
don't know,
a
does
year.
it become mandatory that we use recording?
I don't think it will. It was longer than a year before I found this last one. And, she left because things were absolutely overwhelming. And she can do, mediations and things like that while she's sitting at home, depositions. So,
So to answer your question about the recordings, no one will certify it. So if we can't find a court reporter to certify that, then it's null and void. So nobody will do it. So that's why
Also-
Leslie quit. She said, I'm not getting in all that.
I also believe counsel can object and you don't have an option.
Correct. So that's-
So what's the answer?
I need a court reporter and I need to pay her a salary that's competitive.
Kind of pertinent, does Navarro College have any court reporter program at all?
No, and I've asked, yes, Athens does, yeah. And I've
Okay.
gone out and spoken to them out there and told them that is an amazing thing that needs to happen for
Yeah,
high school kids that can get that and come out and start making.
maybe we can bridge that gap and see if we can get a program started.
For the whole state?
Yeah, because it's not just here.
You know,
any other questions on the court order? As far as the court coordinator, I will just tell you that I've said this in the past and I'll say it again. I think some of the court coordinators for certain courts almost have to be a lawyer now. I know that mine has a bachelor. She has a associates and legal assistants and also certificate and an associates and same deal. I think some have thought, well, they'll say your secretary. I'm like, she answers your phone. I'm like, that's the last thing she's really doing is answering the phone. That person sitting there has to know the law, the timelines, what they can't do, what they should do, and
The attorneys.
got to know the
That's all we have
attorneys.
to know. If they want 30 minutes, but if these two attorneys, we know we really need to set it for an hour.
Mhm.
And so a lot of counties now, and I can't always compare it to every other county, but a lot of counties now are going to two court coordinators for a court. Hells County. And the salary that Melissa's currently at with the ARPA, she could still leave here and go make more up there in Hells County. And have less responsibility, just dealing with one court, one type of law, just criminal, just family, whatever the case may be. Here, you're responsible for everything. And
And I 100% agree. Brennan has a bachelor. She worked in Dallas for, was it 11 years as a probation officer? So she brings that experience and she took a pay cut to come here. So. And I've asked y'all to come sit and watch what she does. It's not just answering phones. That's still open if anybody wants to come shadow her for half a day and see what she does. No, it's not just answering phones.
I know it's not just answering phones. So the real value add is almost doing two coordinators' jobs, or what
Yes.
other counties have tasked two to do.
because you attach the court requirements, but then there's the administrative that the judge has to keep up with. And you've got to have someone that knows what they're doing. They don't. Believe me, I suffered for 6 months during a separation, and it was a disaster. It was an absolute disaster. If Melissa left today, I would know what I was doing, but it was very, very hard. I mean, it'd be very hard to find someone with her experience to come in and not just experience, but her background to take over that. Nobody's permanent. I know everybody moves on at some point, but
Sure.
to again get those qualified persons to handle this type of court or courts is imperative to know. And I mean, they have to. I think Melissa knows more law than I do because the settings, the timelines, what you can't do. That's she's under the same code of judicial conduct just like I am. There's a few exceptions, but pretty much the same thing. And the confidentiality and
they also have to know what is reported to OCA to make sure that our numbers are right. And if we've got to do more of this or less of that, because everything's reported about courts to the OCA. So they have all of that information and know what needs to be done and not done. And then that in and of itself is quite a bit. And I'll tell you because of how long is that? Okay, so since February, these two ladies have been also doing the indigent defense coordination job. So they're going over to the jail, they're appointing attorneys, they've been doing that on top of their regular duties.
Did we do a budget adjustment for that?
I would like them to get paid for that. And they're doing someone else's job on top of their normal.
So there's no stipend for the additional responsibility.
Did both?
both coordinators, is the grant going away for both of them, or was just one getting it?
It was Melissa and mine didn't have one.
Like just the next slide, Judge, it's just kind of where your burn
Okay.
is through day. Just kind of showing that there, I think there was one line item, Judge, that I just want to make sure. Was it transcripts or that you're way over?
I think I may have put,
Transcripts, so
Next
it's
one.
12.
No, I got that. I fixed that, Judge. Investigators, you were way over, but you didn't
Oh,
change
yeah.
it for this year. You had kept it flat, so I didn't know if that was an out, if you thought this year was an outlier. I was just wanting to show you just to make sure if we needed any other budget adjustments or, and then expert witnesses. You kept those flat, but you were burning.
I probably just overlooked it, but we are getting, I know that myself and Judge Putman are getting inundated with investigators. The defense attorneys will say, you know, due to the complexity of this case, we need someone to help us, you know, do this. The expert witnesses that come in. Not,
You want,
it probably needs to go up. It's not gonna go down.
I can tweak those adjustments in your budget.
Because you're not in control of that.
No.
It's required. I mean, if they ask for it, you know that.
Would you kind of say if we annualize this number for the rest, it would be the same number as this year's FY 26 is 27 on actual spend is our best
Well,
guess.
can we look at the past two cycles and see if we had the same issue?
I think, yeah, we can pull it up. I actually have it.
Okay.
I think I can pull it up.
'Cause, yeah, I think it would be good to at least be closer. You know, a
I
closer
think
projection.
you're, maybe you're close to the same thing. You're actually, your budget's a lot bigger for investigators, and expert witnesses. You're at the 50 and 50. So. We can check Judge so I can see where he was the last few years. Yes, sir. Best, yeah, investigators in FY 24 was like 40 grand, and then, or 25 was 40 grand, and 24 you had a bad one, so you had 100 grand.
In mine?
I'm looking at for you.
No, it was probably that specific case. Every once in a while we get a case that,
Was that the manslaughter?
Even FY 24. But yeah, in essence, a big outlier in 24. 25 was, FY 25 was about 40 grand of actual spend. So that is in line with where he's kind of trending now for about 40 grand, which is, Judge Putnam has 50 grand in her line item for, I'll go back to the present so you can see it. Yeah, so Judge, county court law for, looking, investigators is 50 grand, which is kind of where you're trending. So we could, if y'all would like, we could kind of keep those similar. And then you have 15 for your expert, that's where you're trending as well.
I'm not sure where we're getting a lot of, well, we get a lot of requests for competency, and those are anywhere from 2,500 to 3,000. There is a court ruling that came out from Travis County, federal judge that has given the state 4 years. This kind of gives the state 4 years to rectify their issue. When someone's found incompetent to stand trial, they now have 21 days to get them out of the jail. And I know that, sure, they got 4 years to get a protocol, get policy, get in place where within 21 days of me finding someone incompetent to stand trial or whoever the judge is,
Mhm.
they got 21 days to get them to a state hospital. So they're not sitting in the county jail to go for restoration. And
If
That's
that's not
not
available,
possible. 21 days?
And the problem is there's not a place for.
no,
the
21
jail
days to
send
get
them.
them out of here to there, not to get
Yes.
restored, to start the restoration.
Because we're holding them for 12 to 18 months just to get a bed right now.
Right, that's what we
And
talked
then,
about.
there's
What
not
we're
a state
finding is
hospital.
these medical doctors are now
Yeah.
emailing me saying, hey, just dismiss the case. So I looped everyone back in, including the district attorney. I said, only the district attorney can dismiss it. Because what we're finding is it could be a state jail felony, and we've housed them for 4 years and paid everything. Well, the max they can get is 2. So
Done.
where does the judicial benefit and, justice, judicial autonomy?
But that's just one of the issues.
Yeah,
That probably drives up.
Well, the state and county needs to get on the same page.
But there's not enough. They closed down a bunch of the hospitals because they said we don't have mattresses or we don't have, for, yeah, and they see.
But we got
they
$40
said
billion
that.
down there that they don't know what to do with.
Agreed.
that's not this cycle.
Yeah.
They've
We
got
need to
money
sit
they
down and
can
shut up and pay our taxes and let them worry about it. They tell them.
accept it. Trickles down to us and becomes our issue.
There is no answer.
Chris, I don't know if you had, your budget was kind of looking at this. I think you went up on transcripts. I talked about that. You had significant, you can see gentleman on County Court of Law. Yes, she's already projected to be over budget at 110,000. And so we had talked about going up 10 grand from 75 to 85 grand on transcripts.
Mhm.
Is there a big one outside of personnel?
Most of the things y'all are asking for is beyond your control.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is.
That's the best way to put it.
And like Alan Jackson said, all it takes is money.
Yeah.
You have
Well-
anything you want, all it takes is money.
I've got a guy in my courtroom today, he represented himself, and I still had to appoint standby counsel to be there with him, whether he wanted him or not. So he's found guilty, it was in front of me, I sentenced him to 29 years today. Now the state is trying to work on an agreement on all his remaining cases. So the prosecutor is dealing directly with the defendant through his standby counsel. And so you hope that, it all costs money. And so the guy even told me yesterday, he goes, I'm just trying to save the county money. And so I don't want a jury trial. I just want you to do it. I'm like, thank you. But it's just, if he appeals, then
Right.
there's the transcript, there's the appellate attorney, whether he wants one or not, he may not.
I got a dumb question. How much of the transcripts, the investigators, some of this stuff that the defense attorneys are asking for, I won't say how much of it's frivolous. I'll say how much of it is legit. How much money are we spending when we really don't have to just because the defense attorney wants to be a jerk? Because I know there's a lot of that.
I believe that the defendant could be a possible mental health if either of the attorneys do. You have to. It is mandatory to get them examined for competency.
Your third floor may change the budget amounts.
I understand.
You gotta match toe to toe the investigators, and so if this third floor turns over 1,400 phone calls, it's one attorney opposed to a whole office going through those phone calls. So you're gonna see, I think, a change.
And you may not see as many appeals. But like the transcripts, they're mandatory. Once a case is appealed, the Court of Appeals, the court order has to prepare it. And if that defendant was indigent during the time of their trial, they're still indigent. That means the county pays for the transcripts, not the attorney. Now, we have some attorneys every once in a while who want to ask for a transcript for every single hearing that's ever been had before the case even makes it to trial. And that person's indigent, so therefore the county pays for that.
But like last week, we tried a guy for a third time with the state, and then they dismissed it after we picked a jury, seated him, and we tried it twice. So they got the transcript both times, and then they dismissed it on the third trial.
Total wash.
And that attorney had to prepare to go to trial, pick the jury.
And
And
then
then,
25 to life.
and though if it's dismissed, we still pay for his time or her time to prepare. We pay for the voir dire, and the voir dire is part of trial. So it's a higher amount per hour than just sitting at your office preparing.
I saw in the bills Monday, just thumbing through there was one attorney charged $30,000.
That was another continuous.
You know, and I'm going, wow, I'm in the wrong business.
We housed him for 2.5 years
You need to
until
go
the
to court
DA
report in school.
gave him a PR.
Or you need to actually use your attorney.
You know, I think I can speak for Judge Covington. We try to, I think before every trial now, or during every trial announcement, when you really start seeing, okay, who's going to trial, my question is always asked, is there anything that y'all can do to work this case out short of trial? Have y'all had an opportunity to speak? And sometimes, you know, well, okay, we'll speak, and then they work something out. I do it just so, I mean, if we don't have to have a trial, you know, they have a right to have a trial, but maybe if y'all speak for 5 seconds, maybe you go, hey, we got something worked out. Doesn't happen all the time, but it does every once in a while.
Flipping over rocks.
Yeah. You know, it forces both sides to at least say, hey, here's our weaknesses, here's our strengths, and
What are the odds?
I just had one more question on the county court of law budget that maybe need an adjustment to line 112 juvenile board. That one year to date, we've got 25,000 budgeted. We're year to date at 62,641.
Why?
What
Let me
is-
check the math on that, Judge.
Okay.
Why? This should be a standard juvenile board. I don't know why it's getting coded that way. Let me just check.
Okay.
Because it's a standard rate that you guys get to sit on the juvenile board. So could be a classification. So let me check that.
Would, as the other stuff we talked about with investigators, expert witnesses, or not, transcripts, would y'all be okay with us adjusting those to be closer aligned to what that is going to look like?
Yeah.
I'm not making the decision for the court, but at least run that.
yeah.
Both trending like right at 100% already for court-appointed attorneys with another month. Judge, letting them year over a little bit already. Is there any change you think going into FY27? You're up there at the top right there. You're at 100%. And then Judge Lago, you're at 98% down here. Anything that small shift, we got one more month left in this.
We have one more trial.
We added one. We're doing like 4 right back to back to back to back.
Never mind.
We have a couple seconds. We have a couple.
So we have a couple.
We have, I just added one too.
Trying to clean up the jail.
Maybe a small tweak up on those 2 line items as
Yes,
well.
sir.
Oh, okay.
There may be,
Again,
well, I'll decide I may add another week of a jury between now and the end of the year, depending on a certain ruling that comes out. So I'm waiting. Maybe another week added between now and might be around Thanksgiving.
And we have CPS. We haven't had CPS in a while. And so those will all be court appointments coming through.
And they'll all be.
If everyone's appointed.
Yeah, we do.
I think we're gonna try.
If the parents' rights are terminated, it's automatic appeals, and it's a 10-day turnaround. So the court reporters.
Mhm.
I think the one I have has like 5 parents, so there's like 5 attorneys. And then the kid attorneys, there's like.
Yeah.
6 attorneys in
There's like
it.
6 attorneys.
You got the alleged, you got the presumed, you got the unknown.
So court appointment's not just criminal. We have a
Right.
significant CPS caseload right now.
Yeah, we do.
Juvenile, okay.
I think I'm set. Do you have any more to add? Do you have any more questions?
The only thing I want to bring up is making sure that Ms. Butler and Ms. Sherman, that there's some way that they can get paid for their extra job they've been doing. That's a big concern for me.
And me too.
All set?
All and all done?
I know we always seem to bring gloom and doom.
No more than anybody else has.
Right.
It's so hard to predict the future. I mean,
Well, the fact is the county's growing.
well,
And with that growth, there's a certain percentage that's gonna wind up in Sheriff Tanner's hotel. And there's a certain percentage that's gonna run through y'all's offices too. I mean, and as the population gets bigger, that percentile, whatever it is, grows. And so it's a natural phenomenon that the cost goes up as growth occurs. And if you don't like it right now, give it 5 years.
well, the number of cases that came in during the World Cup, just from the DPS task force, that was, I don't know how many extra cases were brought in that normally just on a regular summer.
Dane told us yesterday, it was a
Yeah.
significant
Yeah.
amount.
And how many were
We're
felonies?
appointing like crazy.
Yeah.
We're appointing like
Came
crazy.
through other places also.
What?
Those personnel came through other places also, so that ties into what we discussed yesterday. Okay.
That's what I'm saying, it's just,
Staffing.
and Elmer, I used this term years ago, but the ripple effect. When that rock hits the water, those ripples start coming, it hits everybody.
But all you're gonna hear on the news and social media is what a benefit it was to our area that we had the World Cup, in Dallas. Where was the benefit?
I got stopped 3 times. I didn't see it.
If you hadn't been frequenting those places, you wouldn't realize.
There you go.
Tinted windshield, sir, tinted windshield.
Do what?
Consequences for your actions.
Yes,
sir.
I was at the hospital 2 or 3 one morning, and I asked the trooper that's local here, I said, hey, when's this task force? When are they done? And the trooper that was actually in the room, I didn't see him, who was on the task force, stuck his head out. Are you tired of us yet? I said, oh, no, I'm not tired of you. I'm just wondering when y'all are going back to East Texas.
And he's talking about increasing his force by 9.
Yeah.
Dane,
Adding 9 to it?
yes.
Dear God. Never heard that study.
I read where the Dallas police force is 600 officers load.
Anyone have any other questions?
And this, like, one comment, I think all y'all are asking is very legit. It's legit based on need.
And I was telling David that when you show cattle, and the judge picks the lineup, he has to give reasons. Now, this one's number 1, number 2, this one's better than that one. And it's minute differences, but they're reasons. And everybody I've heard so far have given really good reasons. I mean, it's not extravagant. It's not, we want a 50% increase in pay. And wham. No, it's good stuff. And we appreciate it.
Appreciate y'all listening.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
We'll do what we can, I promise you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for coming.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Maddox.
Saving our
All right,
favorite for last this morning.
Jane, you're on deck, the county treasurer's office. No, this is the, we're not the denial party.
This is, yeah, I mean, obviously, those people know Jane is the treasurer elect, so, there's gonna be some changes that Jane is wanting to implement come January 1. Just in the way the layout, the flow of the office, obviously she's been in the office for quite a while now, so Jane, what I just did was just kind of take your budget, some of your notes and summarize them, and this, and again, we're just away from the big binders and flipping pages, but really, these are all your points. Feel free to talk about them. I just kind of summarized them for the commissioners and the judge to read more of a PowerPoint presentation than trying to flip through
Okay.
pieces of paper on Excel. But go ahead. I'll turn it over.
First of all, as far as the salary goes, there will be replacement for my position. And I am requesting an additional full-time, in reference to that, based on the fact that, in the past, it's just been 2 employees for that office. And that creates a problem as we get busier, when other departments get busy, our office gets busy because we collect all the, the money and all of that, that has to do with that. Our office does other things besides just taking in deposits or going to the bank. And I think that's a misconception for a lot of folks that doesn't understand what our office do actually. To begin with that, I reconcile 48 bank accounts monthly. So it's a vicious cycle. When I get one reconcile, 1 month reconcile, it turns back around over again. We also do part of payroll, still do part of payroll. The final step of payroll. I kick out the W-2s. There's a lot to it than just taking in money, what it's due. The strain has been on me for some years, due to the fact that there's only 2 employees in that office. So when the current treasurer had his health issues, all that fell on me. And at the time, it was just 2 of us. So I came in and I requested, some help as far as, part-time. I was granted 2 part-time positions. But the problem with that is, and I'm grateful for the help, but with them being part-time, I cannot give them the access that they need to do the financial side that can help me with that. So, that's how I'm justifying the full-time position, because I feel like I can get more and, out of, getting rid of the part-time and, put in the full-time to help the workload. With that being said, I will have basically all new employees, because I'm the only one in that office right now that will qualify to be able to run it without, any issues. So I will have to train my replacement and train the new person, time wise. I just feel like it's more benefit as far as, money wise to implement and give me that full part-time, full-time and possibly, and then I won't be able to get rid of both part-time position right away because I have to have some kind of backup, because I'm having 2 new people coming in, not knowing how the operation goes as far as that. Now, hopefully, I can get them trained within a year and, the following year, and I can, say, hey, this is 3 people is all we need. We don't need a backup. I think it's a lesson learned that any department always will need to have some kind of backup as far as staffing. Because let me tell you, it has not been easy on me these 12 years. I work day and night. And, you know, I do it because I love what I do. And I don't, you know, you never hear complaints out of me until I cannot do all of it by myself. And then I come in and say, hey, guys, I need help. So I'm looking at it. The transition is going to take some time because I will have two new employees if I'm granted the extra position to that. But I do have a very qualified, experienced part-time that has agreed to help me do this transition because the first thing that I need to train my new people is the front end of the daily operation. And she's, you know, has agreed to stay and help me through that process to train, you know, both girls, you know, whoever I'm gonna bring in. But in the same breath, I'm saying that is my chief deputy will also need to learn what I'm currently doing, you know, what I do, because that's the whole purpose of, you know, of that is, in an event, something, you know, happens where I cannot, you know, come in or do whatever, that person should be able to step in and do what I do without, you know, without missing a skip a beat, anything. And that's basically what I did when Ryan, you know, current treasurer, had his health issues. You know, a lot of things were self-taught because I was a chief deputy, you know, doing this whole time. So when that happened, no one trained me. I just kind of just, you know, just winged it and did it, you know, and called my fellow treasurer, you know, from other counties for help, you know, or, you know, whatnot. So, what other question am I asking for?
Just you have that accrued vacation payout. That's it.
As far as accrued vacation, with me transitioning from a regular employee to elected official, our vacation is accrued, like what I'm working this year is accruing for next year's vacation. So what I'm working this year is the vacation that I'm earned this year is actually accruing for next year. So county will owe me that money for my vacation because that's what, you know, and that, I don't have Julie in here to verify that, but that's how that needs to be, because, and the official is not eligible vacation right there. So the vacation that I earned this year, which I cannot use until next year, the county will owe me that. So I just want to make sure that that was in the budget, because I don't want to be in office for the first year and I'm negative everywhere. And I do want to justify as far as the part-time money, I'm probably in the negative right now.
I can look at change, so. You're 98% through.
Yeah. Well, and the reason being is because I'm having to bring my part-time in to fulfill what's going on now, this budget year. Okay. But this budget year, you know, it's going to roll into my budget next year, because I'm going to have to allow for October, November, December. Because the current treasurer is pretty much checked out a little bit here and there, kind of like me. So I can do the work because I have shown that I have done it before without any help, but I'm not going to do that when he's still getting paid for it. And, you know, and he chose not to come in, but, you know, I can't control that situation. But what I can control is I can get the help in there to help me. Doing, you know, come in and do the, you know, take care of the front end while I'm taking care of, you know, the backside of things. So that's why I justify for, you know, for the, you know, the October, November, and December, those 3 months, I'm gonna have those women come in there and help.
You stayed flat on part-time help between, so is that what you're saying? Even though you're going to need it for the first quarter, you'll need some for 2, 3, 4.
Right, because, and I'm allowing that part-time money, to come in and train, my new people. That's what.
Would it be advantageous to you to go on and hire one now, that way you'd have part of the training off?
I would love to. That will be a lot easier transition for me. Of course, I kind of stay away from that because he's still the treasurer and I have respect for that, to do not move in, and, because that's not under my budget, because I just say, yes, we can go hire somebody. I don't think he will oppose to that whatsoever. That will be very helpful. That, first of the year is crazy because, we have W-2s, we have, a lot of things going on. And November and December is a lot of things going on in our office as well, because we're dealing with 3 payrolls. And we have that extra longevity in there. And then back-to-back payroll in December. Because once we get done with that, I'm having to work, trying to get W-2s ready because we have the deadline, get in without getting fined and, things like that. So, yes, that I thought about that, but I kind of refrained myself on that because he's still, we're still under him right now. Now, I don't know.
I guess it's in the budget, right, for the full year of the employee. The budget you have in here for the staff, the new full-time person, that's for, in essence, 12 months, right? So I don't know, one of you guys would ask the other elected official if it's okay for that hiring process to start, to be going into effect October 1.
At least bring the chief deputy in.
But
that will be helpful because my chief deputy will, with her, with this person being new, will pretty much shadow exactly, everywhere, any conference I have to go to, because this person will have to, needs to learn all the ins and outs of what's legal, what's not, what we can do, what we cannot do, and as such. And as far as my travel, it's gone up. It's going to be going up quite a bit because there's conferences that I felt like that treasurer's office should attend. I have not been attending any of those because of staffing. I can't be gone because when I come back, it's there for me. So I feel like it's a lot beneficial for me to go to some of these, conferences, retirement, because, it still comes back to my end somewhat, retirement, Julie and I talked about that. Because the only thing I go to right now is the investment, because, I handle the investment part right now. I didn't even go to the treasurer conference whatsoever this year, because I know I have to turn around and it's required mandatory to go to the new treasurer conference, even though I've been doing this for years in December. So I was just trying to save the county money, why go to one in October, it's not in September, why, I was trying to have to go back again in December.
If we did approve a new position and say the current treasurer doesn't start the hiring process in October 1, I guess this is more of a question for you, Charlie. If that doesn't occur and Jane can't do anything about it till January 1, is there a method for us to adjust that?
in the budget, I mean, we can do line item adjustments in the budget for that, I would guess, because in essence, we would be not burning that first 3 months of
Right.
payroll. The paradigm of trying this is we don't want Jane on January 1 to say the job posting's open, because we can't start an employee until the 1st or the 15th.
Right.
So then therefore it starts to do, so, she in essence going through the recruiting process in December for that person to start January 1st. Which then, if that's the case, why don't we just back it up, but again, it's,
Well, yeah, ideally,
elected
let's get
officials
them
call
all.
there. I think it'd be potentially be smart for one of you gentlemen to talk to Ryan to ask if that
Okay.
is okay.
I'll talk to Ryan.
if you're okay with that.
Yes.
Well,
yes, yeah, that would be
Is he
wonderful.
usually here?
First part of the morning,
Okay.
he should have gone by about 8:30 in the morning. So,
Okay.
Maybe tomorrow if he's here.
yes, he should
If,
be.
if he's here tomorrow, maybe before our session, we can.
Okay.
Grab him to talk to Judge. 'Cause I think we're starting at 10 a.m. tomorrow again.
And
so-
you know, and if we can do a line adjustment, the only conference and the conference money that we used this year is when I won't have to go, I went to the investment, which is required. He hasn't gone to any of it, so, there's money there to move, there's
Right.
money that we can move to justify that. Year.
Okay.
So, and another thing I really want to touch on is the bond money. I know, the previous, the current year, I think it's like only $200 for a bond. That only covers the part-time. So I called and trying to give, when I was doing the budget, trying to get an estimate of how much our bond would be, as far as for mine and for my deputy. And my agent's not changing. I think you might want to look at all your other treasurers, because I feel like your amount is, needs to really look at that. I think currently, my bond and Brian's bond is like 75,000 for our county this size, and it should be at least 250. So we could, get in trouble for that. So anybody, someone come in and look at that.
That would be in
Because-
statute, wouldn't it?
Yes. See, I don't handle the bond. I have never handled the bond. So, auditor's office has always handled the bond. So, and when we renew, we just renew it. So,
Right.
I just happened to call and say, hey, as far as, the rate, how much is it gonna be in this premium wise?
Right.
Do that adjustment there. So I did call Ellis County, Denton County, when they both, they just got, when I told them 75,000 for my bond, and they're like, oh my, you did this, what, and we went back, you didn't get off, you didn't get in trouble with that. I said, I never handled the bonds. I just knew we had to be bonded. So with that being said, I will have to have a $250,000 bond for the treasurer. Now I found out that I can get a blanket bond, which will kind of, instead of having a separate bond for the part-time, I can have what we call, they call it blanket bond, of 250,000, but it will cover my chief deputy and, however many employees I have in the office, part-time, full-time, or whatnot. So.
So in essence, as far as staffing, just to get this straight in my mind, right now it's you and Ryan and 2 part-time.
Yes, sir.
But what you're proposing is you as a treasurer and 2 full-time people.
Yes.
Okay.
And keeping one part-time for training purposes. I'm hoping, just at least for the first year, because I can't train and do what I gotta do, on that side. Because, it's really a unique thing, situation, because I have never went to, walk into an office where you start with all new people and no one, because, you have, other, offices where, the, elected official leave, at least they have employees, for example, auditor's office. One leaves, they still have a staff that that can help each other, can do other things. But once this is happening, it's just gonna be me in 2 part-time. So I'm still sitting at what I'm looking at today. Very limited help, yes, big help when it comes to the daily stuff. But when it comes to the monthly, because, a lot of my stuff is time sensitive. I have to get my report in certain time, so I have to have it, that in place as far as me to be able to have the time to do that. Right now, how I'm doing is I'm working at night, every night to 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And if anybody wants to monitor me, be happy to monitor me on that. And I have to spend 1 minute. So something has got to change, guys, for all of us. And I feel like that I will get more out of, you know, 2 full-time employees versus 2 part-time employees.
Yes,
Eventually.
to speak on, I mean, I know what I've seen with Jane over the last year, and we've got to start looking at the investment strategy of our county. Right now, our money is sitting in a bank earning little to no interest. The treasurer's office in most counties should be forward-looking, looking at the right things, helping us be strategic with our funds. You know, if we're going to continue to be physically responsible like you guys have done, we're adding to the general fund. That's a great thing. The bad thing about it is it's earning 0% interest on an inflationary money. So
We're losing money.
you're losing money.
Yeah,
So
right.
it's like we
Exactly.
did all the hard work.
It's in a mattress.
Yes, sir. We did all the hard work, and we need to free up the treasurer's time to strategically think going forward, how do we deploy our funds? That's very easily said because you have to be very protective of the funds. You can't just throw it in,
Right.
you know, crypto tomorrow and say, let's pray that it goes up, right? So but I think to echo what Jane's saying in here is, if we're going to transition this office in a structural move here, you know, having somebody do what Jane's been doing on the day-to-day, it's her chief deputy, but then replacing that next with the full-time, which is pretty much 2 part-times as a full-time. So it's the math works there if we decide we want to really make this office strategic for us going forward. But I didn't mean to step in.
So that would be part of the value add.
Yes, sir.
And that's why you brought up Texas Connect.
Yes, sir. I actually have been doing behind the scene on this for quite a while.
Mhm.
You know, with me doing the bank statements, you know, doing the financial side, you know, of it. I'm not happy with the way that, you know, the money's not growing like it should be. We have a lot of cash sitting in the bank, drawing very, very little interest. While we can put it in a pool and triple that money. I'm talking about tripling pretty much monthly while we're just sitting there at the bank, you know. That's what I have been, you know, trying to look at, you know, and that takes time because like, you know, it's a scary thing because, you know, when I look at things like that, it's not my money, you know, it's the county's money. And I have to be very protective of that.
Right.
I have to look at it all angles and do my research and who I'm bringing in to invest on money. And I have to look at it in all kinds of angles. What if, you know, and I'm going to pull it out without any kind of, you know, big penalties in an event something happens and the county needs that.
Yeah, how liquid do we need to be?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I looked through all of that. When I first came to the county, the only pool we have is tax pool.
Mhm.
You know, since then, you know, like I said, we added, just actually another one, it's, Texas class. But we're moving at a very slow pace. And each time I go to our conferences, investment conference, and these other counties are saying, you know, we've been investing this, investing that, and and I'm thinking, why are we not doing that? Why are we just money sitting at the bank? So,
Because we're in the 1970s.
yes, we need to move on forward because I just feel like, you know, money can be made for us with the money that we have in the bank right now.
Money is a tool.
Yes,
It
Well,
works for our bank.
prosperity.
You know the last time we've gone out for bid on our business.
Well, it is, you know, we got an extension because, you know.
When did we do that?
Extension. Now, that's another thing. When I come in term, that's when we're gonna have, it's renew again. So I
Okay,
already
good.
started working on that
Good.
now. The problem with Corsicana is, I send bid packages to all local banks.
Mhm.
No one wants to touch us.
Why?
Because we do have a lot of money they have to collateralize. And it's a lot of work for them to do that. And to, you know, to my surprise, how is Prosperity, this little bank in the corner, is the only one that will ever accept. They don't even touch it. I've got in touch with National. I mean, No one wants to touch us.
Yeah, I mean, Prosperity's got a big footprint in municipalities, so their collateralized system typically through Cedars is a big deal. You can buy surety if you want to collateralize, you can do Cedars. And all Cedars is doing is just taking your money and putting it into
Yes.
1,000 accounts underneath the FDIC limit.
Right.
Or you as the bank can manage it underneath the FDIC limit. So I think that's where some of the community and the regional, local banks don't want to touch it because they're having to either buy surety, which is expensive to them, and then also pay the county an interest rate. So it's costing them kind of on both ends. But they want to, for them, they can loan out $18 million or
Yes.
$20 million, whatever it may be. But, that's
But
the
are we that differently situated than some of
They're
the
the
school
only-
districts?
They're the only ones that'll finance equipment for us also.
Mhm.
The other banks, of course, kind of don't want to do it because it's a different procedure and they don't move forward.
I remember,
That's what I was really surprised when, because when Ryan got ill and this is the time when we, had to do, bank contractors up. And I was surprised because I'm doing calls, I'm calling every bank I could possibly call, and no one wants to touch us. I said, well, I'm sending you, the packet anyway, please take a look at that. And,
you would think bringing $18 million in deposits, somebody would perk their ears up, but
Well, I hate to digress, but we should set that as a separate agenda item on a future meeting to fully discuss that. But I'm glad that's on your radar.
yeah,
I'm
it's been on
often-
a long time.
I've often wondered why, everybody, we all pay our taxes by the end of January usually. So our funds are gonna look really big in
Yes.
January. Why aren't we even short-term investing some of that? Because we're not expending that right at the moment. That's expended out over our fiscal year.
And I think I kind of have talked to you about yours, and I'm trying to catch
Yeah.
you guys separately, because especially you, Eddie, you have quite a bit in there sitting in prosperity right now, and it's not doing much.
it needs to work for us.
Yes, sir, and we can go ahead and do that, there's no time frame that, you have to. I just like to, I never ever move money, I invest without talking to, the department head, that's actually
Well,
doing that.
there's people that does that for a living and it's not me. But I remember Mr. Fullerton, who had the food store, he had a bank over at Cedar Creek,
Mhm.
and Walmart came to Cedar Creek. And they came up there and said, I want to open an account. And he thought, this is gonna be good. He had to hire 4 girls to handle that account.
Mhm.
And every night,
Mhm.
the money disappeared. And after 6 months, he had to go to Walmart and says, I don't want you anymore. That's what we're talking about, is when somebody takes the county's bank accounts, all the bank accounts, they have to hire some people. And they have to make sure that
Oh, yeah.
they're making money, because they're a for-profit business too.
yes, sir.
What prosperity is doing basically is they're taking our money, making money for themselves.
Yes, well, that's what they do.
Basically. Wow.
They loan our money.
One good thing about the pool is, it's basically like the banking, in the event we do need it, we can pull it out. So it's not like a CD or anything like that. But you will get better interest rate, on a monthly basis.
Just don't want to be like the TRS, Investment on Teacher Retirement Service Investment Officer. It invested 14 million with Enron.
Mhm.
That was a slow day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Dallas firefighters, I know several Dallas
Yeah.
firefighters, they have nothing.
Yeah.
It's gone,
Mhm.
disappeared.
That's why you bonded, collateralized it.
Yeah.
And while I got you guys here too, I don't know, as far as, I know, investment committee, I don't know what happened to it when, when I came into the picture of this, and it was, it was a commissioner, there was an auditor, a treasurer, and a commissioner, there's a 4, and I don't know where we stand now, because,
You need to reform it. It was.
we really, really need to reform that.
Yeah.
Because, with that being said, those are the really other requirements to have on the investment board. If you have to have it be a court, auditor and treasurer, on that. And usually I think most county, the treasurer is the chief operation of that. But, I like the idea of having a board, because anytime I feel like we need to make an investment account, it needs to be, you know, discussed through a board, not just one person make a decision. I always like to, you know, have, what the right hand, left hand know what the right hand is doing, especially with counting funds. Transparency. All of it. So that's just my thing.
I'm good with Eddie Perry being on that.
We need to get that, we need to get those kinds of things on the agenda after we
Yes.
get through budget.
Yeah.
Actually, whenever you're comfortable and it's a good spot,
Okay.
Yeah.
hopefully, maybe before January, I don't know.
Okay, absolutely.
It depends on what
I'll,
you
I'll
can do.
make time, you know,
in your
I know
current-
how to
Okay.
juggle things, you
All right.
know, so, I can multitask all day long, so.
Thank you, Jay.
1:30 we're.
Yeah, okay, Charlie, I know we need to give you some direction at some point. Would y'all be okay with coming back maybe 15 minutes before 1:30 to go through as far as how Charlie's gonna plug in the numbers for at least a preliminary budget draft? This isn't saying you're approving anything, it's just, what do you want that first one to look like with people's asks?
I mean, we'll have to come out of recess to do. that.
Right. I haven't recessed yet, but
We'll have to come.
So do you want to, we can either do it at.
we can do it right
early
now,
15, or we can, or yeah, whatever.
1:15.
y'all good with that?
I'm good with
If
that.
we leave now.
All right, recess till 1:15. I was able to tell you that time.